My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to episode 249 of Legally Clueless. This is our second last episode of 2023. Super exciting. Christmas is on the way. And if you're an OG member, you know how much I love Christmas. I am so happy. Anyway, let's get back to this episode. I have nothing but love for you if you're part of the family. Thank you so much for being here for our podcast. If you watch our video series, if you've been to our events or our workshops, I have nothing but love for you. If you are a newbie to this podcast, I was going to say new G. Okay, listen, my mind is on Christmas mode. I'm really struggling to make it focus here. If you're a newbie, our podcast goes out every single Monday and you can stream it everywhere, literally everywhere you find podcasts on. Make sure you head over to our website. That's Legally Clueless Africa. While you're there, you can watch our video series. We've got 4 seasons out. Our tour series. Guys, I'm working on our next tour. I don't want to say anything else because I've been pitching for this tour for like a year. So I don't want to jinx it. In fact, I've said too much. Let's just carry on. While you're on our website, you can also sign up to join our family and be receiving our newsletter. So it's legallycluelessafrica.com. Make sure you also join our warm corner of the internet on Instagram. We're at Legally Clueless Africa. That's our handle on TikTok as well. But all of these links are in the show notes, so just head over there. Back to this episode. Very excited whenever it's one of you who fills out our storyteller form and we get to record your story. That's exactly what happened with Angelyne. Her story's coming up. Listen to this.
Dear Lord, my wish is to get married when I turn 30. I don't want to be over 30 years and I have a daughter and I'm not married. I later met my husband in 2006 in Mombasa, where I used to work. Due to our relationship evolving, I later moved in with him. I came to Switzerland. How I met my husband, it's very interesting. I actually did not know he would be my husband. I was really literally not taking him serious. Of all the people that I had dated, he was one of the people that I never took serious. I was working as a hostess in the restaurant, and he was in my station. So every morning I used to say hello to him.
We're going to get to that in a bit, but let's jump into Song of the Week. I'm very excited about this one because one of the artists is someone I met way back in the day. Okay, so I was like maybe 18, 19, 20 and doing an open mic gig with a pal of mine called Cassandra, and we would have different poets come on stage and share their poetry. I was sharing my poetry as well, but we would also have musicians in between the poetry sets, and that's how I met Katu. Oh my goodness, one of the best musicians this continent has ever seen, and he's from Kenya. One of the best guitarists and just an all-round cool guy. So he teamed up with Winyo and Suraj, and they have a song called Nyoro. And it's just, oof. I think also it's because Winyo is singing in my ancestral language, Luo. So there's something about hearing Luo in songs that's so yummy. But not only Luo. I feel like when I hear like African languages in songs, even when I don't understand it, I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. Like Kikuyu, there's like a huge house Kikuyu song currently dominating the world. Kamba. Even like South Africa, I don't know. It must be something in our African spirit. But anyway, check out the song. I went on a wild tangent there, but check out the song. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. This time around, I'm going to share a thought that was brought to my mind while recording this particular story after the story. So we're just going to jump right into 100 African stories. Angelyne, she is in Switzerland, repping Kenya there. She filled out our storyteller form and we got in touch with her and recorded her story that has everything to do with new beginnings, finances, where if you an African woman, this is a must listen to episode, trust me. She's in her late 40s, and the reason I bring that up is because I love listening to women in this age group and in their 50s, so 40s and 50s. One of my friends who's been on the podcast before, and she was on Legally Clueless After Hours, which is on our video series, Rosalind, she's in her late 40s as well. And whenever I talk to her, I just feel so inspired, so enlightened, and the level of don't give a fuckery that comes in your 40s is wonderful. And then I have another friend, Kamal, who has also been in the podcast, I want to say like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and she's in her 50s, and let me tell you, it's like on steroids. Like, don't give a fuckery, very in touch with their emotions. Obviously, it's not just the age thing, they're also very self-aware individuals, but I just really love hanging out and listening to women from that age group because I always walk away fuller, you know. And that happened when I was recording Angelyne, and I'm so excited that you get to hear the story. This is a must listen to for every African woman. So once you listen to this, share this with all your girlfriends. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
My name is Angelyne, and I come from Kenya, and I'm a Luo. I'm a very, very proud Luo. So I was born in Mombasa. I grew up in Mombasa. Both my parents are Luos, but they also moved to Mombasa. My mom was actually born in Mombasa. My dad came to Mombasa when he was an adult to look for a job, and he met my mom. So I was born and grew up in Mombasa. My family is mainly based in Mombasa. I went to primary school in Mombasa, and in secondary school, I went to Kisumu, and my school was Nyakach Girls. Later, after I finished my high school, I went back to Mombasa and I studied hotel management, and then I worked in the hotel sector. And for a while, a very long while, I really loved my job there, but unfortunately I had to leave due to there was lack of guests. There were so many challenges in Kenya back then due to the clashes and etc. So I had to change my career. I went to look for a job at the Kenya Ports Authority, of which I worked there for a period of time, almost 3 to 4 years. But then when the tourism picked up again, I went back and started working again in the hotels. I am a mother to a daughter. My daughter is 24, turning 25. And she is a lovely girl. And I only have one daughter. I later met my husband in 2006 in Mombasa, where I used to work. Due to our relationship evolving, I later moved in with him. I came to Switzerland. The day I met him, actually, it wasn't, it's not something, how I met my husband, it's very interesting. I actually did not know he would be my husband. I was really literally not taking him serious. Of all the people that I had dated, he was one of the people that I never took serious. I was working as a hostess in the restaurant, and he was in my station. So every morning I used to say hello to him, and one thing led to another. That's how we met. We started to correspond. I had initially another boyfriend that I was thinking maybe he was the one who was going to be my future husband. But it was funny because he was the one who later turned to being my husband, even though I didn't think of it. So I think when it comes to marriage, it's usually planned by God. And I've been married now 17 years. I haven't even noticed that it's 17 years. So actually, my husband, when we met, we started to communicate. He was just there for 2 weeks. So we started to communicate. Back then in 2007, mainly, there was no WhatsApp. There was just SMS, email. So we started to write each other emails and SMS, and we communicated constantly. He later invited me to come to Switzerland. So I came to Switzerland in 2007 and to visit him. So in 3 months, the visit was supposed to be 3 months, and it was during the low season. So I wasn't working. I had taken time off from work. So I stayed for 3 months. And then after that, he said, look, I love our relationship. I love that you're here. I think we should take our relationship to the next level. I was also very smitten, and we started to plan the wedding. He just asked me, will you marry me? It was a very, how do I say, I didn't expect it. And that's how it happened. It was very simple. He just asked me, will you marry me? And I said, yes. So moving to Switzerland, like I said, I came to visit him for 3 months. And when he later proposed to me during these 3 months, we started the process of getting married. It was a long process. My daughter was still in Kenya. So he went to the authorities and asked how the process would go. They later decided to extend my visa to 6 months because my husband said, I don't want her to go. I want my girlfriend to stay. So I stayed. And later, he just started to process everything. It took about 6 months until we were able to get all the papers ready for our wedding. And the wedding was very strange because I did not have my family here. My daughter was in Kenya, and I was a bit down. And I had never been married before. I always had dreamt of a white wedding, something very traditional, big and everything with my family. But that's the part that was a bit strange for me because I didn't have my family. But I was lucky because my uncle, my mom's brother, one of my mom's brother, is in France, and I had to call him and let him know, Uncle, would you please come? I'm getting married. He was very, very surprised because when I traveled to Zurich, he wasn't aware. Personally, I was just thinking it's a normal visit. I didn't make a big deal out of it, you know. I didn't know that our relationship would go to the next level. So this is why I didn't even tell many people in my family because, first of all, I had introduced different people and I was reaching in a situation where I was like, I don't want to introduce anyone new anymore unless I know it's very serious. And I had also in my heart, I was turning 30 and I was really, really longing to be married at 30. I think it's also something to do with our culture in Kenya, especially as a Luo. I was feeling like, okay, I'm going to turn 30. That was always my prayer. I told one of my sisters, my younger sisters, that, dear Lord, my wish is to get married when I turn 30. I don't want to be over 30 years and I have a daughter and I'm not married. It was always in my prayer. And I thank God it happened, actually. So I had not told many people in my family that I was coming to Switzerland and I was coming to visit a boyfriend because I felt like, okay, if it doesn't work, now what next? Because people always, they're like, okay, you introduced us to this one, now this, so I was trying to avoid this. And I didn't tell anyone. So when he has proposed to me and we were planning our wedding, I arranged everything. And then at the last, I was like, okay, I need to have someone. So I called my uncle. He lives in Paris. He flew in. and he represented my family. So on my family side, he was the only one. On his side, he has his family here, so his family was big. But one thing also that was really strange was really like good luck, because I was working in the hotel. And during these years working in the hotel, I had met many families that came from Switzerland, and they were in the hotel as guests. So I had constant friends who sent me postcards, who sent me gifts. It was just without any expectations. They were families. And since I had a daughter, most of the times when I told the guests that I have a daughter, and most of them were like very smitten, and they say, "Well, send something for your daughter. Give us your address." So I gave them my address, and they used to send me stuff for my daughter or for myself. Now, during the wedding, I took my notebook and I was like, okay, I know a few people here. Maybe I could invite them. So my wedding turned out to be a bit nice, because not only did I have my uncle come, I also invited some of the family friends that I had met before even meeting my husband. And they were all very surprised that I was here in Switzerland and actually getting married. So it turned out to be a nice experience. And about 3 or 4 of them came with their families. So it was nice. My uncle plus my friends that I met before, and the family of my husband. So since then, yeah, I started to adjust to life. And I felt really nice that day. It was exciting. The fear that I had that I was alone was gone. So I felt more at home because I had my uncle and I had my friends that I had met before. And for them, it was a very positive surprise to them, because they actually never thought it would ever happen, because it was just like pen pal friends, like pen friends, back then. People used to send each other a lot of postcards before WhatsApp. Nowadays, the world is very connected. People talk through WhatsApp quickly. People don't write each other letters. People don't send each other gifts so much. Yeah, back then it was still very traditional, and it was nice. You were excited to receive a package from Switzerland. I was always excited with my daughter receiving these packages. So after that, I started to adjust to life in Switzerland. First thing first, my husband told me I have to learn the language, which is very important. So I had to learn the language. I had to start learning the German. I'm in the German part of Switzerland. So because we have 4 languages in Switzerland, we have German, French, Italian, and Reto-Romanisch. It's just like in Kenya, we have different languages. So here they have these 3 languages. So I'm in the German part. I had to learn the German language to be able to go to school, to be able to work, and to be able to adjust to a community and make something out of myself. I was very ambitious, you know, because I knew I was a smart woman and I knew I am capable of doing more. And now I'm here. I have most opportunities open for me. So I was like, what do I do? My biggest challenge was the language barrier. So I had to go to school. It took me like 1.5 years or 2 years to study the language. And during that time, my daughter was also in Kenya still. I was very nervous, to be honest, because I was not with my daughter. I wanted her to come. So my husband adopted my daughter. And when he adopted my daughter, he arranged to have her here. So it was really smooth. Nothing happened. My daughter traveled and came here. My biggest challenge was my daughter was 7 years. In Switzerland, it's not like in Kenya. I have relatives. I can have a house girl, because here it's very expensive to hire a house girl. It's almost impossible, because you pay them the same salary, just like the salary that could make them live a comfortable life. If you have any employee, you must pay them a salary that they can pay their bills, they can feed their families. It's not like in Kenya that you can just have a house girl and pay her anything, maybe. Here it's different. The rules are very strict, and you also have to have all the social insurances and securities covered for her. So obviously, couldn't hire a maid. I had to choose between work and being home with my daughter. That really affected me because I was already an independent woman. I loved doing things for myself. I went to work. I had my own money. And then one thing that I didn't like was depending on a man. The reason is I was already a single mother at a very young age. I was pregnant at 20. I had my daughter at 21. And those challenges taught me to be really independent and to always have money because I have a child who depends on me. I cannot depend on anyone. So this was a very, very big challenge psychologically for me. I really wanted to be independent. And back home, because I'm the second born in my family, my elder sister always told me, you know, a woman must be able to take care of her child. You should never, ever depend on a man, especially if you have children. You should be able to feed your child. That's your first responsibility as a mom. So this was always in my head, and I really wanted to do that. I wanted to be in a position where no matter what happens with him or without him, I can take care of my daughter because I don't want my daughter to lack anything. And with that in mind, I started to talk to him and I told him, look, I need to find something to do. So he told me, honey, here in Switzerland, it's different. Mothers stay at home to take care of their children. And if you don't stay at home and take care of your child, the government will take the child away from you. You can't leave the child alone. You cannot do anything that harms the child if they notice that there is any negligence that you have, you neglect your child in any way, even when they stay alone at home. Yeah, the government is very strict. They will take the child away. And he was working 100%. So we had to organize something. I had to find a job that I would do only a few hours in the evening. And during the day, when my daughter was at school, I also went to German classes. I later, after 2 to 3 years, my daughter was she was 10. She was a bit older. And then she was able to eat in school, at her school. So I went to school. I wanted to study something. I took an apprenticeship in the sales. So I wanted to learn how to make sales. I loved sales because I had prior experience working as a waitress and a hostess. It's all about selling. You sell drinks, you sell water, you sell this. I'm very good with customer care and communication. So I had to look for something towards that area, and I applied for an apprenticeship. So I did an apprenticeship, 3 years, a sales lady in a shop, like a small sales kiosk based at the airport. There are a chain of kiosks. So I did that 3 years. After that, I worked. My daughter was already also 13. I worked as a sales lady for 5 years, always worked part-time. But I was interested in working in the finance sector. I loved everything to do with finance. But going back a bit, why I really wanted to work in finance, it was because in Kenya, I was independent. Money was always something in my mind. I think most of the Kenyan women were very independent. And even when I was working at the hotel, I had my own side job. I have my own side gig. I was selling stuff. I was very, very active in the charmer scene with women. I belonged to different charmers. I was participating in different women's groups. But when I came here, one thing I had noticed, that aspect was missing. It made me very lonely. But one thing that I had also as a blessing was my daughter, because my daughter was making friends and I used to meet other mothers. So I met other mothers during birthdays, sports events, school events, and everything. And we built our own, like our own circle. And each one of these women, when we met, especially Wednesdays, because Wednesday afternoon, children never went to school, and we used to take our children out to play, to eat, to drink together. They used to complain, of their grievances. They were also feeling the same way. They lack the possibility to be independent financially. So I was listening to this all the time during these periods when I was meeting these mothers. They were all complaining, I also want to work, I want to have my own income, but I can't because I have to stay at home and etc. But I compared the life in Kenya because despite the fact that mothers had children, they still used their own, they were very innovative. In life, you have to innovate. Women are very innovative. During these meetings, I was always telling them, in Kenya, even the small group we have here, we could create something already. If we were in Kenya, we are 5. This is already a community. We can already build something. We can say every week or once a month, we meet, and then the other person, we exchange ideas. Who has had of a job somewhere, or we take one person can take care of our children on a certain date, and then you go and work somewhere or stuff. So I was trying to bring these ideas to them, and they were all surprised. They were like, Angie, that's true. My main interest was always to create in something that could really have an opportunity to give women an opportunity here to form a community, exchange ideas and solutions to their grievances towards being financially independent. So this is why I was interested in working in the finance sector, because I wanted to bring something that would solve this problem that women were having. They lacked the information, access to information, access to the right products. So I compared in Kenya. I was a member of Kenya Women. I was saving money, Kenya Women Finance. I was getting small loans. I was using these small loans to buy stuff from Kampala, sell to my friends in the at workplace, shoes, viteng, and etc. So I was thinking, why isn't there something like this here? Why isn't there a microfinance that gives women the right information? Why is this missing? I see a gap here. I see an opportunity. And how do I turn this opportunity into something that can be a business that can sustain itself? Because I saw an opportunity. I have the target group. Now I need to have a business that can solve this. So this is why I was interested in finance and working in the kiosk. I started to find information. How can I transition myself from working as a sales lady into the finance sector so that I have the right information, the right knowledge, the right sector to be able to offer this to my community, because I had already started building a community. I created a community already with the mothers meeting and etc. I created a platform called the Lady Boss, and the name I chose it just like an encouragement that you can be a boss of your life. So I created a platform called the Lady Boss Community, where I created events, monthly events. Women could come, we could all come together and meet in a restaurant and talk. The whole formation of this community was very simple. I had put the tickets on a ticket platform where a woman could buy a ticket, and then we met in the evening. I sometimes did them over lunch, and we had like 20 women, and everyone could stand in front of everybody and introduce themselves and say, "I'm Angelyne. Today I'm here because I want to meet new women. get to know other people, and I would also like to find a job. I'm a mother, so the idea was in the midst of these women, you could find somebody who could maybe give you an idea or share with you something that could open a door for you, because this was lacking. So I built this community fast from 2015, building the community. I just started simple with the community and we did many events. And my target was to create a microfinance like Kenya Women, because it's missing in Europe. The most funny thing, Kenya or Africa is rare. People rather see Africa or Kenya as a third world country. But when it comes to women economic development, I believe we are very much ahead, more than the European countries, because here they have normal banks. They have normal banks that don't really care who is who. They just offer a product, to the same product that they offer my husband, who has been working for years with a good salary, or any other man, because here in Europe men work full time, women stay at home and take care of their children. So the same financial products and services that they offer a man who has a stable income, they offer that to a woman who has maybe a part-time job. So there is this gap. There is lack of inclusion when it comes to product offering and the language and the knowledge. So most women are left out. They're just, it's the men who earn the money. It's the men who do all these things. So I wanted to change this, and that was my idea. So I enrolled and started learning banking operations. After that, I found a new job in a small financial institution called Travelex. So I started working in Travelex. Now I was where I wanted, because you need credibility. If you want to build a financial institution or a platform, you need credibility. You need the right education. You need the experience. So I was at the place where I wanted. Having this job, I started to do my research slowly. 2019, I was ready. I started the idea. I put a small team together. In 2020, Corona hit. So we were all working remote. And then due to Corona, I also lost my job at Travelex after 5 years. I thought it was also like a sign. God was telling me, it's time, Angie. Now you have to focus, because even if I would have stayed in Travelex, it would have been a conflict of interest. Me creating my own financial institution and working in a financial institution, that would be a conflict of interest. I would have had to really be careful that my employer doesn't see this, because, yeah, as I said, it would have been a conflict of interest. So I lost my job, and I thought, okay, now God is telling me, go ahead. So in 2020, I created our small team. We started to put the idea together. I looked for a name, and my focus was, now Corona has hit. Everyone is digital, which means all the financial transactions, most people will do everything online. A plus for us, because yeah, I'm a no one. I don't have millions of shillings or millions of dollars to build a bank, but we can create something online, an online platform where women can learn and how to manage their money, how to budget fast, and also to make women aware of their situation. Because what I realized was, most of the women, when they became mothers, they were focusing on being moms. During our meetings, a woman would come and say, okay, I'm now 42 or something. My daughter just turned 13. My other son turned 14. So they are very independent. And I haven't worked for 10 years or 20 years. No, 10 to 15 years, because I was always focused on family. And I want to start looking for a job, but I don't know where. So I was like, okay. The good thing about me was, I was always aware that I want to be independent. I don't want to depend on a man, and I want to find a way. Where do I begin, and where do I want to go? I had to strategize a long-term strategy. So I thought that most of the women, especially mothers here in Europe, they were lacking this preparation, the opportunity to prepare, because one day your children will grow and they won't need you all the time. They will need you, but you don't have to be with them at home. And then if you're not prepared, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't even know where to begin, then you're lost. And most of the time, maybe your husband divorces you, then that's even worse because you're alone, your children are grown, you are lost, you don't even know where to begin. So I thought we need to build a platform where women can get the information that preparation is key. In anything, preparation is key. My daughter now is 24. I always ask her, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And she tells me, I want to be a mom. Okay. I tell her, can you please visualize, when do you want to be a mom? And when do you want to go back to work, if ever? And if you want to go back to work, what do you want to do after that? So I make her visualize all these things. And in my microfinance, I wanted to build a platform where also women could visualize, because when you just become a mom without preparation, without visualizing where you're going, and being a mom is something very nice, very sweet. You focus on your family, you rush out everything, which is really nice. It's very intense. But then at least you need to also think outside the box. If this doesn't happen, what route do I take? So I wanted to build a platform. First of all is preparation. Second, knowledge. Third, right products. Bring them in one platform. And this is the idea that I wanted to do. So I created a platform called Fair Money. Fair Money is a microfinance that offers finance and lifestyle products for women, geared towards women. We combine all these because I believe that a woman should be always prepared. You have your life in order first before you can even look for money. You have to have your life in order. You have to know who are you and what do you want. And then with that, it will help you to find the right job, the right income. And with this income, how can you save it? How can you prepare yourself in this situation at each stage? Because women go through different stages. You are a mom, you are not a mother anymore, you are later looking for a job, maybe you're out of a job, you go through menopause, also all these challenges. So I wanted a platform where we could bring all this together. So Fair Money is a finance and lifestyle app focusing on women. We offer women the right information, the right knowledge, and the right financial products at each stage of their lives. Now, my biggest challenge, the idea was received very well because I am the first to bring this idea. There is no one who was doing it. I was given a platform. I have been put on even Forbes, all these magazines. I was celebrated so much. And when I started to talk about this, it's when women started to be open about it, because women were feeling like they were ashamed to say, yes, I also think, yes, I need to have this. I need to learn how to manage my money. I need to learn how to prepare myself and transition when after motherhood, or when I divorce, or when I go through menopause, all these challenges that women go through. We need to know how we transition. And the transitioning, in terms of, if you don't have the right knowledge, transitioning is a challenge. And that's where you get someone becoming depressed because they don't have the support around. So the biggest challenge, even though I was celebrated in Switzerland, I am the first African woman to be able to look for venture capital money. My biggest challenge was to find an investor. It was very challenging. So 2021, I officially founded the company and registered it in 2021, and I started to fundraise. I was put everywhere. banks used to call me and say, we think what you're doing, we've been thinking of doing the same thing and stuff. But no investor wants to give me money. First of all, they don't know me. No one. I am coming from Africa. I'm just a no one here. So this was really a challenge. So 2021, I was pitching in all VC platforms. Everyone is interested. They are saying, we like what you do. There is a market opportunity for it. No one is giving me money. At the end of the day, yeah, you can tell me many nice words, but you're not giving me money. How can I build this up? So in 2021, I didn't raise funds. 2022, I thought to myself, okay, what do I do? I have already the community before I had built the community of women. And I was having a nice newsletter community, a huge community that I have built before. So I sat down once and I said, I am looking for 1 million Swiss francs to be able to build my company. I think I will not be able to manage it to raise money at once. So one of my advisors told me, Angelyne, I think you should start to build step by step. Raise a little bit of money, build something, create traction, and then build up from there. That was the best advice I ever heard. And I said, okay, I'm going to start with the app, and I'm going to start with one product, which is the financial education and the knowledge before I offer the services. So I sit down and I say, I need to raise at least 100K to be able to have this app with our first product, which is the financial education and life lessons regarding being a man and how you can maneuver your way towards these different life stages. So I write an email to my community. One morning, I wake up and I said, whatever it's going to be, I'm just going to write an email to my community and ask if they will support me. I need to raise money. I cannot rely on VCs. They don't want to give me money. So it was in September 2022, I write an email. Adele, I wrote an email. I was shivering like I was sick in the morning. And then I never looked at my emails the whole day. I was scared because I was thinking, what if no one responds? What do I do? I stayed the whole day. I was busy doing other things. And then in the evening, I said, I'm going to look. I was surprised. I had pre-registrations, people who were interested, like almost 40 something. I was crying. I was in tears. I knelt down and I called one of my friends who is my advisor, who told me, Angelyne, you should raise step by step and make and create one product so that people can see your idea. It will attract more people. I called her, kneeling down in tears. I told her, I cannot believe this. I really cannot. So it was in September, and I was planning to give it like 2 months to do a crowdfunding. So I started to reach out to people who gave their pre-registrations, and in September, October, in November, I raised the money, 72,000 Swiss francs. And then I had already a team ready. We started building the app in December 2022. 2023, it took about 3 to 4 months to build the app until May. In April, the app was done. I had to do some few tests with a few people, almost 10 to test if the app is functional. So I invited a few fast testers. They tested the app, and I put our first educational products in. And the app was live in May, 1st of May. We were live on the App Store and Google Store with our first product. This 2022. So it has been a journey, a very challenging one, heartbreaking, because I believe I'm capable. I believe I can do. I'm qualified. I have the passion. I have the experience. I have the knowledge. I have everything. What's standing on my way was money. So in May 2023, we officially launched our app, Fair Money Banking app. It's on Google Store and Apple Store. Also on our website, www.fairmoney.com, you can find our website, and on the website you have a link that will take you to download the app, register, and download the app. So I'm super happy. I'm super proud. Despite those biggest challenges, I was able to raise this initial funding to be able to bring our first app, version 1, and also our first product. Now I'm in the process of doing a second fundraising. By the end of this year, actually, I'm now in the process. I should be finalizing it by January. I will be able. I want to raise another amount that will enable us introduce our second product, which is the banking, the bank accounts and payment cards, where it will help the women to start saving money. That's the most important thing. Save money for their future, save money for being able to do something when they are ready. For example, if a woman is thinking of she's a mom and in 5 years she wants to go back to school, or she wants to do a job, or she wants to do something, she wants to start a business, she's able to plan ahead and save money towards that. So this is where we are getting to. Our next product is, because we have now information, we now want to offer them the saving accounts and the payment cards. My advice to women who are younger, especially, think ahead before you do anything. Women have different life stages. Our lifespan is not like men. Men have a straightforward life. They become older, they graduate from school, they start working, and it's expected of them to work. Women, we have different life stages. We finish school, we become moms, those who want to become moms, not everyone. But in most cases, we have more women who are mothers than women who are not mothers. The population of mothers is more than single women who are not having children. So our life stage is different. We become mothers. Maybe we have these challenges, we stay at home. We go through different things. We have to take care of the family. We are the main caregivers to our families. We spend a lot of time taking care of the family. We go through a challenge, like maybe when a woman gets older, she goes through menopause, she retires, and then she retires, she doesn't have an income that could cover her through her retirement when she retires through old age. So she is poor. We have so many in Europe here where women have no money during their retirement because they worked less, they earned less, they are divorced. And when that happens, when you are retiring and you're alone, you don't have a good income at your retirement age, so you're poor. We have so many women who are in this situation. My advice is that you visualize your life. It's important to visualize. The earlier, the better. Visualize your life. Look at what options you have and what options are available, and then plan ahead. Planning ahead will help you avoid so many challenges in your life. So this is my advice to younger women. Visualize, plan ahead. Older women like myself who are in their 40s, it's never too late. You can always start. You can always change something in your life. And one thing, when you become older, please try so hard to be healthy. When you're healthy, that's the only thing that will enable you to find and to make better choices. Healthy, it means that a healthy mindset also. A healthy mindset will open doors for you, regardless of your age. If I was giving up because I started fair money in my 40s as well, I didn't give up. I knew, okay, I'm in my 40s. I'm still pitching. I'm still looking for investors. I still need to find an investor. How do I go about this? It was very challenging. I cannot tell you how many nights when I'm outside, I'm very positive. I'm really nice. I look nice. No one can really believe I have a good aura. But when I'm alone, this fear hits me that actually I could fail. If I don't raise money, I could totally fail and not be able to build my business. So the fear strikes me. And I cannot tell you how many times I ran to the church and just pray and kneel down and pray. My source of strength actually is through my strong Christian faith, you know, and my strong Christian faith always has kept me positive and going. So it gave me a positive mindset and to know that, okay, Lord, I'm praying. And you said that when you ask, believe, and it shall happen. I believe you'll open a door for me. So everyone has a different way. I'm not saying that you should be a Christian or anything. I'm just saying that you should find your source of strength where it comes from. It could be talking to your family. It could be talking to your friend. It could be just sharing with other people, listening to the right person who gives you comfort, who helps you have a clear mind, because it all begins with your mindset, especially when you're older. Your mindset should be healthy. A healthy mindset will help you and it will open many doors for you. That's my advice.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. That was really awesome. I went into that recording not knowing what to expect. I remember one of our team members actually does the shortlisting of people who sign up to our storyteller form. You know me, when I see finances, that's I'm like, yes, that's what. It's my hope that as much as we enjoy ourselves and we connect with each other as Africans on this podcast, I think it's so important for especially African women to get our money right. Like, unpack any financial trauma just so that you can start getting your money right. And so that's what drew me in. But I ended up getting so much more from her story. I think at the end of the story, I was just like, the questions that I think she kept repeating in different words is like, what is your plan? What do you want for yourself? And finally, at this stage I'm at in life, I feel like I not only have a very clear response to those questions, I not only see, like I can visualize exactly what I want for myself and what I'm planning for myself, but I also believe with my entire being, like every corner of myself truly believes that I am not only capable of actualizing these plans, I am deserving of the goodness that these plans have. Those two last bits of being capable of and being deserving of, I've never felt that before. And so it's so liberating as a woman to feel that. Another thing that I think came to my mind, which is the thing I wanted to share with you, while I was recording Angelyne's story, and even afterwards I was thinking about it, and I was actually telling two friends about it this past weekend. It's something I noticed when I was married, and it scared me. And I only noticed after the marriage, like after I got out of the marriage, that's when this particular thought hit me, and it's actually very scary to me. So I realized that when I got married, I packed up my life plans, and I don't know how that happened or when that happened. I'm very clear my ex-husband didn't ask this of me at all, which is also making this whole thing wilder, because it really is a testament to just how much of society's standards we have internalized as women, even without knowing. You know what I mean? So I think I subconsciously packed all my life plans and just like stopped them once I got married. In the moment, nobody had told me to do that. But when I think about socialization and what is expected of women, I think I'd internalized that, you know? Even when you are trying to liberate yourself as a woman from society's expectations and trying to figure out who you are, I think we shouldn't underestimate first the fact that we didn't grow up in a vacuum. We grew up in the same society. And then secondly, because of that, we internalize a lot of these self-limiting ideals and expectations and definitions that they are for women. And that was really scary for me. Like afterwards, I remember figuring it out in therapy and just being like, whoa, what? I thought I'm pretty self-aware. How the heck did that happen? I truly think it's possible to be in a relationship, a healthy one, and still have and pursue your individual dreams. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's possible. I don't want to say too much on how I know it's possible, but it is. It is. But just don't underestimate how far in you the conditioning has gotten. Question even your own thoughts. Make sure they are your own. Have a plan, like really visualize what you want for your life. And I think in the past, when we were being told have a plan as a woman, it was always from survival, which I get, right? I get. It was coming from a lot of trauma. A lot of women found themselves in relationships where there was financial abuse, where they couldn't leave, or they left and everything they built they couldn't leave with. So I get it. I get the survival and the trauma that was backing when we were being told this. But I also think there can be joy and happiness that comes with being told as a woman to have a plan. What do you really want out of life? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? It mustn't always be trauma-based. There can be joy. Because when you dream about things you want to actualize, it's beautiful. You know what I mean? When you're lost in that world and you're painting like, I want this, or I want to live here, and I want to get this degree, or I want to buy this. There's a joy, and I think it's important to still have that when you think about what do you want for yourself? What is your plan? Obviously, we live in a capitalist system, and it would be crazy not to acknowledge that. So make sure your plan includes ways in which you can make money. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting a soft life or being very ambitious and wanting a certain level of income. I don't think it's wrong for a woman to want those. I don't think it makes you one-dimensional. I think it's the reality of the world we live in. Unfortunately, because of how the systems are, money gives you choices and options. And that's important. The more choices you have, the more comfortable you can be. And so, yeah, I think back to Angelyne's stories, just those questions. What is your plan and what do you want for yourself? Can you write out the answer to that? And it's so beautiful to listen to the story at the end of the year going into a new one, because you can actually say, okay, this is what I want, and I can visualize it. And then the two bits that are important to me for you to stress on is I am very capable of actualizing these goals, and I am deserving of these goals and of these dreams and of these plans I have for myself. So in the show notes, I've put links to Angelyne's website. Once you're on the website, you can learn more about the app. She also has a book that's coming out pretty soon. You can learn about how to pre-order it. And we're going to bring her back on to write one of our newsletter letters, because I don't know if you've noticed, you probably have. I want us to unlearn the trauma that's behind our financial decisions. I want us to be more financially healthier as a community here. So definitely that's one of our pillars in 2024 is to figure out how we can do that together. Get our money right. Oh my goodness. If you want to share your story like Angelyne, all you have to do is sign up or fill out rather our storyteller form. A link to it is in the show notes. We have correspondence now and we will be recording stories all year round. So get on that tip. Doesn't matter where you are. As long as you're African, you have a story, we want to hear it. Make sure you sign up to join our community on our website. That's legallycluelessafrica.com. If you are in East Africa, catch us on Trace FM every single Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. and 11 p.m. Fridays at 1 p.m. Just go to traceradio.co.ke to stream. I'm just so giddy because it's almost Christmas and I have to tell you this. Yesterday, I had my best friend come over and another one of my girlfriends, and we were just hanging out. I've wanted to kind of have people over around Christmas time, but it's so, I don't know why I'm second guessing myself and also like trying to figure out how to make friends and it's a whole thing. But anyway, so they came over yesterday and I got everybody Christmas gifts. My best friend got me a Christmas gift. And we got each other the same Christmas gift, y'all. Like, I've been trying not to open the gift she gave me because I'm like peeking in. But she opened hers. She was like, oh shit, I think we got each other. We got each other the same gift, which is just so precious. So I can't wait until midnight on 24th going into 25th. I'm going to be opening my gifts. Anyway, giddiness aside, I'm going to leave you with a clip from our video series, which I think you need to check out on our website. If you have tried out Tinder or Bumble or whatever other online dating apps and platforms they are, you may want to listen to Angela's story. She does share her Tinder dating experiences. So I'm going to leave you with a clip for that. If you want to watch the full episode, head over to our website, legallycluelessafrica.com.
Yeah, and things just sort of deteriorated. We were not talking in the same room. And I just decided to leave, which I think was harder than actually being in the relationship because there was so much at stake. And what are people going to say? You guys thought you had the world figured out and things like that. But I realized that I had to do it for myself. Otherwise, I was going to go mad. So I packed up and left. And I think because I had a lot of leftover emotions or leftover love or leftover feelings, I rebounded really quick. Yeah, so I started dating this guy and it was nice as well. Moving from something that was not there to something that is actually really there and almost felt like tangible, like you could actually account for the feelings that were not being taken seriously before. So pretty quickly, things started moving pretty quickly. We also moved in together and we were living the sort of dream, or so I thought that was. But for a while, then after that, I felt like I don't think this is something that I wanted to do, and not so quickly. So I up and left. I woke up one day and I just decided I don't think I want to do this. So I moved back home, and for a while I was like, it's okay. That family, being around family was nourishing in itself, first of all. And then I just decided you don't have to be with someone to feel like you're full.
That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.